Oh, please.
All right, we're hot.
All right.
Jeez.
We could all stand for the pledge, please. Councilman Sal, can you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for the men and women in the armed forces, our first responders, our veterans, those fighting the good fight in Ukraine, and those suffering from the military conflict in the Middle East. Thank you. Noreen.
Do I have any nominations for a moderator?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Mayor Bass as moderator.
Okay. Any second? Second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you, Noreen. I'd like to read the warning that was published on the 26th day of April, 2024. The electors of the town of New Milford and those qualified to vote in the town meeting are hereby warned and notified that an annual town budget meeting will be held in person in the E. Paul Martin Room upstairs in Town Hall on Tuesday, May 7th, 2023 at 7 p.m. to consider and act as appropriate upon the following agenda. Number 1, to receive public comment and discuss the proposed town government portion of the budget as prepared by the Board of Finance in and said town for the ensuing fiscal year, July 1st, 2024, to and including June 30th, 2025, in the amount of $46,448,214. No vote shall be taken. Number 2, to receive public comment and discuss the proposed Board of Education portion of the budget as prepared by the Board of Finance in and for said town for the ensuing fiscal year, July 1st, 2024, to and including June 30th, 2025, in the amount of $73,462,509. No vote shall be taken. Number 3, to set the town budget and Board of Finance budget referendum date for May 1st, 2024. All polling places will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Did you say Board of Finance or Board of Education?
Or I'm sorry, Board of Education. Town budget and Board of Education, number 3.
Yep.
Budget referendum. Do we have anybody first that would like to come before the town meeting and address the public? Katie. And if you could please state your address.
Katie Francis, 123 Candlewood Mountain Road, New Milford. Good evening, Mayor and Noreen, and good evening, watchers. I just want to say again, as I've said in the past, that having been through quite a few budgets as a member of the town council, I'm familiar with the departments. Now we have just really a lot going on and a lot of great people working there. And there's been always comments are made that, well, you know, it's something you want, it's a toy, why do you need that? You just want it, it's not a need, it's not a necessity. And so there was a fire in New Milford a couple of weeks ago, and I don't think that the people who got that fire put out in their house in record time and nobody was hurt would think that the fact that they had the right kind of truck and the right kind of pumper, because they live in a rural area, they wouldn't think of it as just a want, just a kick. No, they're not toys, they're necessities, and we need them in order to keep the peace, keep people safe. And I think that the residents and taxpayers of this town think we're doing a pretty good job. And everything has been open, honest. We got books, we've got meetings, they're on video, they can come here, you can play them back, you can watch them for kicks. There's nothing that isn't transparent. So I am really fairly confident, I shouldn't say very confident, that our taxpayers are going to understand that the budget under the mayor has been brought down to the lowest possible point that it could be. And although prices are rising, we all know that, it cannot be kept flat because of that. I mean, there's just a lot going on, which everybody suffers through. So I hope that they understand this is really the best that they're going to get, and they vote with their heart and their purse when they get in to vote. As far as the Board of Ed goes, everybody's listened to them and what they put forward, the same as they have for the town, and I think that they should have have it in their mind what they want to do when they walk in there and realize that there are needs there as well. So I thank you, New Milford, I thank you, Mayor, and the rest of my councilmen for all that they do. And I hope that when you set the date, that we are all happy, not maybe ecstatic, but we're happy and able to move forward in our life with what we end up with. So I thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie. Have anyone else? Paul?
Paul Murphy, 15 Buckboard Lane, New Milford, Connecticut. I come before you tonight as a 75-year-old citizen and taxpayer and not a town council member. Had the opportunity today to go shopping at Stop and Shop and filled up a cart 2/3 of the way, and it cost me $232. Mitchell Oil delivered 139 gallons of oil to my home at $3.64 a gallon, which costs $508. Spectrum Internet and Basic TV was $158, and Sunoco gas for my truck was $107 for 30 gallons at $3.58 a gallon, which adds up to about $1,006 on 7 days in the month of May. I stayed at the Board of Ed budget hearings between the school superintendent and school board to the Board of Finance. I spent all 4 times there. I approved that budget last year. I approved it again this year. Obviously, I approved the town budget. I have some concerns which I relayed to the Board of Ed and to the superintendent of the schools, that we're sitting at number 52 or 54 out of 169 towns, and that's not good. And I feel as though next year, if we don't see some type of improvement, I don't know if I would approve next year's budget. We have $3 million a year added on to the school board, so it's going to be over $75 to $76 million next year. And the town budget's going to increase also. But there's a lot of senior citizens in this town living paycheck to paycheck. Well, right now, they're living in the credit cards, and some of them are going deeper in debt. So I'm out here trying to protect the elderly in our town. I'm one of them. I just lost my wife 2 months ago, so half my income is gone. Not to say I can't continue to live here, but we got to start looking at budgets. And unfortunately, I got to start looking at the school budget. I follow school buses around this town that are half empty. We're showing 30 to 40% absentee at each school, where people aren't coming to school. I don't know why we don't have truant officers, but I think that's where we should be going back to. If we're paying taxes, then we should have the kids should be in school. That's all I got to say. I'm going to take and return back to the town council and support the town every which way I can in helping out not only the schools, but the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else that would like to come and talk about the town side of the budget? Chris?
Chris Cosgrove, 143 Sunny Valley Road. Regarding the town budget, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, that I'm very appreciative of our town department heads and our town employees, and of course our mayor, who are out there constantly looking for ways to save money, and whether that's through some new equipment that will save labor and save headcount. Over the years, that's happened time and time again. I also appreciate us using surplus money to buy equipment that is needed. These aren't wants, these are needs, for whether it be for our DPW or our volunteer firemen. I think that it's been a great collaboration among our town employees, and I really think that our taxpayers get a good bang for the buck here in New Milford. So I just want to let everybody know that I appreciate their efforts, I see their efforts, and I certainly will be voting for this town budget.
Thanks, Chris.
Oh, sorry, yes.
And do we have anyone else that would like to come up? Walter? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You better sign this too, mister. I have to sign. I did, Well, Steffi told me I do.
Don't make me say that.
You're on video.
You know. Walter Bearer, I'm at 137 Candlewood Mountain Road. It's got to be a challenge every year for the departments within the town to put together a budget. And the argument is always wants and needs. I sat through, speaking as an individual, I sat through 2 weeks of budget hearings on part of the town. And let me tell you, what I saw was not a taxpayer's burden. There are needs, not wants, there are needs. Imagine if we have to have a full-time fire department. Talk about screaming taxpayers. And unfortunately, I don't hear the roar of the crowd here tonight. And what's disappointing when it comes time to vote on the budget, how minuscule is the vote? And it directly impacts your pocketbook. So as far as the town side of the budget, I am all in. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Walter.
Did you sign that?
Do what she says. What's the address?
Do we have anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of the town budget? Going once, going twice. Okay. Next is any public comment on the proposed Board of Education budget. Go. Okay.
I'm going to sound like a broken record once again. Oh, I'm sorry. Walter Bear, 137 Candlewood Mountain Road. Once again, for 2 weeks, I sat on deliberations, not only by town departments, but then the presentation by the Board of Education department. Education is a very slippery slope because you cannot put a handle on how much money is it going to cost you this year. It may cost you $150,000 that you don't know about to send out a kid, outplace the kid because he needs special needs. You don't know what the bus transportation is going to cost for the year. You don't know about food deliveries to the school for lunch, breakfast, whatever the case may be. I guess what I'm trying to say is that listening to the Board of Education presentation, I thought it was fair. I thought it was transparent. I thought it was open. And what they requested, I think, was not only in the interest of the community, but the best interest of the community, and I will certainly vote for that side of the budget as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else who would like to speak? Wendy?
Thank you. I'll let everyone else go first. Wendy Fallenbach, 147 Stilson Hill Road.
Better sign that
Oh.
before Stephanie gets mad at you.
Goodness. Thank you. You're quick on that. Thank you, Chris. Okay. I echo almost everything said here before me. Councilwoman Francis articulated correctly, in my opinion, the challenges of the economy and trying to keep lower numbers, which still means an increase in our budgets, but keeping them as low as possible due to all the financial challenges. I also echo Councilman Murphy that we do need to be doing things differently moving forward. You and I have had that discussion, and how moving forward long-term, all municipalities must be doing some things differently, and I think we've started that, and I hope it continues. I also know that, sadly, the reference to not having a lot of people here this evening, I know that they have busy schedules and things of this nature, but there's not a lot of people here this evening. And it's really difficult when you have to go back and modify a budget and you don't know. So, and you're criticized for those decisions when there's not a lot of buy-in. So it's too late if that happens. That criticism is harsh. It's unfair on all of our elected officials, and we do it because we're elected, responsible, caring adults. But I hope that we see more of our town partake in our meetings in general, rather than sit or perhaps not be as involved. And again, I'm very aware of, the working schedules and all of those difficulties. But I think it's important. So I would urge this community to come out and support these budgets and hope they pass. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight on the Board of Education budget?
Ellen Conklin, 9 Stephen Court. I'd like to encourage everyone in the community to support the Board of Ed budget. The administration, the Board of Education have worked hard to balance the needs of the students with the budget constraints. They have a tremendous amount of mandatory things that they need to do, including buses that can carry every child, even if the child or their parents choose not to ride them. And we have an opportunity to support our kids in our community who have struggled through COVID and are still feeling the effects of that. But I trust the Board of Ed and the administration and the Town Council and Board of Finance that have supported the Board of Education budget, and I would encourage everyone to vote in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And do you have anyone else that would like to, Sal, for the Board of Education budget?
Sal Winkowitz, 6 Winton Drive, New Milford, Connecticut. On Board of Education, specifically, I listened to the hearings. I was participating as a town council. I did have some disagreement. Main disagreement I have is that education is not commodity. It's not an asphalt. It's not a truck. You can measure how many kilometers it makes or miles and put something like this. It's a different field altogether in our budget. We're voting now for what's going to be the future. You vote however you want for either of the budgets. I'm not going to suggest anything. I have obviously my minds, but again, when you go to the votes, I encourage everybody to think about this as a not commodity or something. Now we're voting just today, or that day when we go voting. We're voting for 10, 5, 15, who knows how many years from now. That's what we're voting for on education side. Thanks so much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Sal.
Of course.
Is there anyone else that would like to come before the town meeting on the Board of Education portion of the budget? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Oh, Mike?
Mike Sinello, 111 Willow Springs. So thanks everyone who's watching at home. Just so everyone knows that aren't that many people in this room. However, we have some of the best turnout we've ever had watching at home. I think our peak viewership on Facebook right now is 30 people and on Facebook alone. And then on YouTube, I think we're closing in on a peak viewership of about 30 as well. So somewhere between 40 and 60 people at any given time are watching us at home. So thanks for those who are watching at home, but I think that's probably going to explain why there's so few people at a meeting like this.
Thank you, Mike. Mike? Again.
I'll get it to you again.
Again, anyone else that would like to come before the town meeting concerning the Board of Education budget. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, now number 3, like to set a motion, and if I could have a second, to set the budget referendum date for May 21st, 2024. This will be for all polling places, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Do I have a second? Ms. Mercer. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Walter, and a second. All those in favor? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everybody, and thank you for everyone watching tonight as well. Thank you.